Are we really doing this again? A Giants player just disrespected Philly fans again, and it might be the biggest mistake he makes all season. Because if there's one thing you don't do in the NFL, it's poke the Eagles while they're soaring. With the roster stacked, the city united, and the fans louder than ever, this team doesn't need more fuel. But Kayvon Thibodeaux just gave it to them. Get ready, because the fire is coming. Eagles Nation, strap in. Training camp isn't even here yet, and the noise is already reaching a fever pitch. And no surprise, the center of the storm, once again, the Giants. And this time, it's pass rusher Kayvon Thibodeaux throwing gasoline on the fire. We've got new faces showing out at OTAs. We've got Jalen Carter hyping up his teammates. And yeah, we've got a wide receiver flying under the radar who might just earn a roster spot. But before we get into all that, let's talk about the one thing that has every Eagles fan talking this week. Kayvon Thibodeaux just gave Philly fans bulletin board material, and not just a little. He went all in. On comedian Kevin Hart's show Cold as Balls, Thibodeaux straight up insulted Eagles fans. He didn't even try to be subtle. When asked if it was true that Eagles fans aren't smart, Thibodeaux said, and I quote, "Like no bull, I know you're one of them, but there are like statistics. You guys are literally, excuse me. That's not just trash talk. That's a slap in the face to the most passionate, knowledgeable, and loyal fan base in all of football. And the worst part, he said it like it was just common fact. Like Philly hasn't been dominating the NFC East. Like we didn't just win a Super Bowl. Like we don't have one of the most stacked rosters in the league coming into 2025. Look, we've heard this all before. Opponents underestimate us. Analysts doubt us. Fans of rival teams throw shade because deep down, they're scared. And why? Because they see what we see. A loaded roster returning almost every key piece from a championship core. Owner Jeffrey Lurie said it best at the league meetings. He called last year's Eagles one of the best teams in NFL history. And he meant it. Dominating Washington, taking down Kansas City. These weren't close calls. These were statement wins. The kind of wins that say, we're not done yet. So for Thibodeaux to go out of his way and take shots at the fans, when the Eagles already have one of the biggest revenge chips on their shoulder, it's like walking into a hornet's nest wearing honey. Veterans around the league know, you do not disrespect Philly before coming into the link. Former players who've been on the other side say the same thing. Keep your mouth shut or get humbled. Thibodeaux's going to find out real soon what happens when the crowd is already rocking, the roster is already motivated, and then you give them something personal. Meanwhile, back on the field, there are some serious standouts at OTAs. One wide receiver in particular is flying under the radar but turning heads with his speed. And no, it's not the one you think. This guy has a real shot to make the final 53. Plus, Jalen Carter can't stop talking about a teammate he's nicknamed the Vanilla Gorilla. And what that means for our front seven is straight up scary. But we'll get to all that. Right now, there's a target on Thibodeaux's back, not because we hate him, but because he asked for it. Eagles fans, you've heard what he said. Do you think Thibodeaux crossed the line, or is he just trying to stay relevant? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and tell us 1 to 10. How fired up are you to see the Eagles shut him up this season? And now, Eagles fans, let's talk about what's coming next. Because Kayvon Thibodeaux might have just written his own nightmare. You see, he's laughing now, talking slick on camera. But let's see how loud he is when he lines up across from Lane Johnson, one of the nastiest right tackles in the game. You want to throw shade at Philly fans? Fine. But now you have to face a guy who hasn't allowed a sack in years. Let me paint the picture. Thibodeaux, full of bravado, running his mouth like he owns the NFC East. Then October 9th rolls around, Eagles travel to New York, lights are bright, the crowd is loud, and Thibodeaux, he's got to face Lane in the trenches. 2 weeks later, on October 26th, the Giants roll into Philly, and this time it's personal. Thibodeaux thought booing fans were tough. Wait until 70,000 angry Eagles fans scream at him with every snap. That place is going to be electric. Make no mistake, these dates are circled in blood red. And while we're fired up about that, there's other news buzzing through the nest. The Eagles were supposed to have their ring ceremony soon, the one to celebrate our most recent championship. but that's been delayed. Official word, the Jewelers need more time. They're working on perfect sizing and details, but let's be real, some fans think there's more to it. Word is the Super Bowl 52 trophy has a dent in it. Yep, a dent. And you know the front office wants both trophies standing tall, side by side. When the rings are handed out, makes sense, right? You don't rush greatness. Better to wait and do it right than rush and end up like the Chiefs. Don't forget, last year they misspelled playoff seeding on their own Super Bowl rings. That's not a small mistake. That's a stain. Philly's not doing that. We don't play sloppy with our legacy. Now, let's clean up one bit of old drama, the C.J. Gardner-Johnson situation. He fired back on Instagram at defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, who said the trade was just about salary cap issues. CJ disagrees. He says he didn't have a problem with anyone, and the real issues came from the other side. Honestly, at this point, who cares? The trade's done. Let's not give drama any more oxygen. We've got a new team now, hungrier and meaner. Let's talk real roster moves. GM Howie Roseman just filled the final roster spot, signing speedy wide receiver E.A. Adeboyeho, nicknamed EA. And even if you've never heard his name, you will, because this guy has elite speed, sharp route running, and a legit shot to make it through camp. Think about it. This roster is stacked, but there's still room for one more surprise weapon. EA could be it. We'll break down his game in the next section, but just know this. The Eagles aren't done upgrading. Every day, every move, every decision, it's about winning another Super Bowl. What do you think, Eagles Nation? Do you believe Thibodeau just made the biggest mistake of his career? Are you fired up for those October matchups? And do you think Howie has another gem in EA? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Rate your confidence in this team from 1 to 10. And if you're ready to ride this wave with us, hit that subscribe and turn on notifications, because this season, it's going to be unforgettable. All right, Eagles Nation, if you weren't already fired up, this is where things get real. Let's break down the roster battles, new additions, and a defensive monster who might just be scratching the surface of his potential. Let's start with a name most of you don't know. E.A. Adeboyejo. This guy isn't a big name. He didn't have jaw-dropping numbers in college. In fact, in 16 games at Sam Houston State, he only caught 37 passes for 345 yards and 1 touchdown. Not exactly superstar stats. But here's the twist. This kid can fly. He ran a 4.2 8-second 40-yard dash at his pro day. That's elite speed. He ranked 149th out of over 3,500 WR prospects since 1987 when it comes to raw athleticism. That's why Howie Roseman took a flyer on him, because sometimes speed kills. Does he have a real shot at the final roster? Honestly, it's a long one. Maybe he sticks on the practice squad. But in this league, one camp flash can change your life. But you know who is turning heads at OTAs? Danny Gray. Remember that name, because Gray is out here making noise. Beat writers can't stop talking about him. He's showing out with the second team offense, making catch after catch, getting work on special teams, and showing the burst that made him a third-round pick for the 49ers back in 2022. At 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and running a 4.3340, Danny Gray was hyped as a deep threat with underrated route running. But in San Francisco, he got buried. Injuries, limited snaps, bad luck. He finished his rookie year with just 1 catch. Then he missed all of last season with a shoulder injury. Now, he's healthy, he's hungry, and he's playing like he's got something to prove. If this continues, Gray could make a real case for a final wide receiver spot. And who knows, if someone goes down, he could be the guy to step in and take the top off defenses. Now, don't expect Howie to go on a shopping spree. The roster is completely full for now. Any new addition would mean someone gets cut. A lot of fans are begging for an edge rusher, but here's the deal. The coaches believe in the young guys, especially Nolan Smith and Jix Hunt. Why bring in a veteran to steal their reps when these guys are developing fast? Nolan Smith himself said it best. His next step is not just chasing sacks. It's becoming a complete football player, crushing the run, setting the edge, playing smart, hard, and unselfish. This defense is about more than stats. It's about attitude. That's why players like Nolan, and especially Jalen Carter, are scary good. You hear them speak, and it's always about the team. No egos, no chasing numbers, just straight up football. And speaking of Carter, we need to talk about him. 'Cause Jalen Carter might not even know how good he is yet. That's not a joke. Jeremiah Trotter Sr., former Eagle and linebacker legend, said something wild on the radio. He said he's heard from people that Jalen doesn't even fully understand the position yet. He's that raw, that new, and still, he was dominant last year. That should terrify the rest of the league. He's unblockable one-on-one. He's hungry, he's focused, and he's only going to get better. Defensive coordinator Vic Fangio doesn't hype players for fun, but he knows Carter is special. When a guy that young, that talented, is already this effective and still learning, that's the kind of player who can anchor a defense for years. So let's hear it, Eagles Nation. Do you think Danny Gray can make the 53-man roster? Are you ready for Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter to take over the league? Drop your takes in the comments below. Who's your dark horse to shine this season? And don't forget, this roster is stacked, hungry, and united. We're not just chasing greatness, we're building it. Let me say this loud and clear. Jordan Davis and Ty Robinson might just be the most terrifying interior duo in the NFL this season. If you don't believe it yet, you will soon. Jalen Carter, the bread man himself, is hyped. And when a player as dominant as Carter says someone next to him is going to make a big impact, you better pay attention. That's someone, Ty Robinson, the Vanilla Gorilla, and Carter didn't hold back when asked about the rookie. That boy, I ain't gonna lie, he moving good. You hear that? That's respect. That's real. Ty Robinson is making noise, and it's not just talk, it's facts. Let's break it down. Robinson is built like a tank, but moves like a linebacker. He's got bend, power, and rare flexibility for someone that size. Playing nose tackle last year, he had a 16% pressure rate, and that was while facing double teams nearly every snap. Now imagine this. In Philly, he's lining up next to Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Jix Hunt. That means Ty Robinson gets the weak link on the offensive line. No more constant double teams. He's going to feast on mismatches. That's why Carter is so fired up. It's why coaches are excited, and it's why we should all be watching number 97 this preseason. And don't forget about Jordan Davis. The big man is back, and he's in the best shape of his life. Yeah, we've heard that line before, but this time, it's not just Jordan saying it. It's Vic Fangio, the godfather of this defense, confirming it. Here's the real story. Last season, Davis struggled to keep his stamina, but midway through the year, he started using a Peloton to improve his conditioning. The result? First 10 games, 4.4% pressure rate. Last 11 games, 9.4% pressure rate. He more than doubled his pressure rate. That's massive. Jordan Davis is finally playing like the dominant dancing bear we all imagined when the Eagles drafted him in the first round. This isn't just hype, it's real development. These guys are buying in, working hard, and pushing each other to new heights. And when you got a group of young, hungry dogs on the inside, like Carter, Davis, and Robinson, bad things are coming for opposing quarterbacks. Eagles fans, it's prediction time. Who leads the Birds in sacks this year? Carter? Reddick? Maybe Ty Robinson surprises the world? Drop your guesses in the comments. How many total sacks will Philly get in 2025? Let's see who really knows their squad. The battle is coming, the trenches are loaded, and the world has no idea how good this defensive line is about to be. Don't sleep on the Vanilla Gorilla, don't doubt the Dancing Bear. The Eagles are coming, and they're bringing the storm.